Getting the masters back, was that from under you, or they had to go to Baby Grand? Because I heard them talking about getting their masters back. Would somebody have to come to you to get their masters back?
No. No.
Okay.
I don't own none of their music, bro.
Okay.
I'm trying to get all my masters back. I got my masters back from Atlantic and from Warner Brothers, but you know, it's a 30-year term, so what, 2 years I get my back from my first 2 albums, and then waiting on them Come Home With Me and Purple Haze, because 30 years, Def Jam has the right to it and Sony has the right to it. Shout out to Joey I.E. and Tom Moskowitz, which was at Warner Brothers when we did the deal with Asylum. They had put in a contract that way after 6-7 years, I get my masters back for Killer Season and other Crown Pays and all that stuff. I got the masters on that. But no, I don't own none of these masters. No. No. I don't own shit.
They lost millions, and now Cameron says it was never his responsibility. Cameron is finally breaking his silence, and this changes how you see Dipset forever. In a raw reflection, Cameron shuts down one of the biggest rumors in hip-hop history. He says that he never owned the masters for Dipset. Not for Jim Jones, not for Juelz Santana. Nobody had to go through him to get anything back. This flips the entire narrative around music ownership, record deals, and lost millions. We're talking about master recordings, publishing rights, and long-term label contracts with giants like Def Jam Records or Warner Brothers. Cam says that he is still fighting to reclaim his own catalog under 30-year terms. That's how the music industry really works. Now, I'm about to let y'all hear this for yourselves, but before I do, I just need y'all to like, leave y'all thoughts on this down below in the comment section, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
Elroy, JR, they was never signed to me. Only person Juelz wouldn't be like bad business. Who are you talking about? Because I ain't really have no business with other niggas. Who talking about? Who else? What you talking about? Besides these people. I'm just asking, who else? Or are you talking about?
I was just talking about people under the Diplomat label who felt that, you know, they were wrong. And I'm sure you've heard several people say that it's bad business. That's what I'm saying. Like, but not one in particular, but you've heard it.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Who?
Well, you just cleared it. You just cleared it up. You said Jim was never signed to you. You know, the only person that was signed to you was Juelz. Or yes. JR, Elroy, nobody was signed to you.
No, Duke neither.
So, okay.
Duke wouldn't have made Duke 4 albums. Duke was running a sweatshop out his crib selling Diplomat t-shirts, Diplomat CDs, him and Karen Civil. Shout out to Karen Civil too. Shout out to Duke. Shout out to both of them. I ain't asking for no money. Now, if Duke gave me some money out of his pocket, like, yo, good looking killer, cool. I had no deal with him to get none of that money that was coming out the A building. All that. With garbage bags of shirts and CDs and all type. I ain't getting none of that. I ain't getting nothing off none of them shit. So when niggas like bad business, I be trying to figure out what you talking about. Elroy and JR, I told them possibly, yo, I can get you a deal. Let's just wait and see how this does. They didn't want to wait. I ain't knocking. I ain't holding them up. Nah, don't wait. Don't wait. Go do your deal. They went inside with a company called Baby Grand. I don't know how much they got, but I don't. It wasn't worth it because the sales. See, back then the sales scan mattered. When somebody's album came out, first thing everybody told what they did this first week, what they did the first week, what they did the first week, and if you didn't do good, that was bad for your second chance. And I was talking to Alan Grimlack about, you know, probably doing some solo projects there, but they signed a Baby Grand and their soundtrack came back not looking good. And then when I go back to people to be like, yo, what's up with them? They're like, nah, we good. Because they want to get the money, and I'm not knocking them. I ain't hold them up. Baby Grand it is. Good luck. But it didn't work out for business with other people I was doing business with. So that's when they be like, yo, Cam, jerk, this, that, that. None of y'all niggas signing me. I like everybody, yo, go do the thing. Take the flag, make us look good. Talking about that Diplomat, make us look good. Only person that can say something is Juelz, and when he wanted out, I let him out. So I don't know what you're talking about.
The getting the masters back, Was that from under you, or they had to go to Baby Grand? Because I heard them talking about getting their masters back. Would somebody have to come to you to get their masters back? That's the
No,
question.
no.
Okay.
I don't own none of their music, bro.
Okay.
I'm trying to get all my masters back. I got my masters back from Atlantic and from Warner Brothers, but you know, it's a 30-year term, so what, 2 years I get my back from my first 2 albums, and then waiting on them Come Home With Me and Purple Haze, because 30 years, Def Jam has the right to it and Sony has the right to it. Shout out to Joey IE and Tom Moskowitz, which was at Warner Brothers when we did the deal with Asylum. They had put in a contract that where after 6, 7 years I get my masters back for Killer Season and other Crown Pays and all that stuff. I got the masters on that. But no, I don't own none of these masters. No. No. I don't own none of these.
This is where the story gets real, because this is bigger than Cameron and Dipset. When I listen to Cameron talk about this, I actually believe him. Not because he's perfect, not because he's never wrong, but because of how he moved during the Dipset era. See, a lot of rappers build crews just to stay in control. They take away all the shine. They treat their artists like assets, sometimes even like tax write-offs or leverage. Cameron never moved that way. He put Jim Jones in position. He put Juelz Santana in position, and they both became stars in their own right. And that matters. Because if somebody is trying to control everything, you usually see it. You hear it in the music. You see it in the contracts, and you see it in how the spotlight is shared. Dipset never felt like one guy in a bunch of side acts. It felt like a real movement. So when Cameron says he didn't own their masters, that actually lines up with the way things looked from the outside. Now, does that mean everything was handled perfectly behind the scenes? Of course not. The music business is messy. Deals get confusing. People trust the wrong contracts. People move fast when the money is coming in. And here's the reality. Most major label deals lock artists into master ownership terms that can last decades, sometimes 30 years or more. That alone can explain how millions of dollars slip through the cracks without it being one person's fault. To me, this feels less like betrayal and more like a lesson. A lesson about ownership, a lesson about reading your contracts, and a lesson about what happens when art meets business. Now, let me ask y'all this. Do you think Cameron really had no responsibility at all in what happened to Dipset? Or is there more to the story we still haven't heard yet? And if you look at how Jim Jones and Juelz Santana moved after Dipset, do you think the business decisions back then still affect where they are today? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.